All right, let's see here. Do we have sound? Yeah, looks like we got sound from the microphone to OBS at least. Stop some of the previews. That one looks paused already. All right. Be something a bit different tonight from what I normally work on. I think I mentioned it the other day, so if you are a person who does watch my streams more frequently, then you may have heard me talk about this. But what I am doing tonight, which I think I updated the title for, is I'm working on a Vue.js tutorial. So I'll actually be watching it and listening to it over on my other screen over here. That portion will not come through to my stream, but I will be working on the code that's in this tutorial. If anyone's interested in the specific tutorial, it's this one, Vue.js 3 tutorial for beginners. I happen to be on number 8 right now, and I am like, 2/3 or so of the way through it, so I'm just kind of starting from where I left off last. And I'll just be watching that and listening to it and working through all of the examples in it. Most specifically, I think right now, we're talking about the Vue router thing, and we are in the process of setting up the detail page for these jobs. This is basically a pretend website that has a home page, an about page, and a jobs page. The jobs page is going to have a list of different jobs that are available, and I believe the goal is that when we click on these, we're going to be going over to a jobs detail page like this, jobs 1, for the job that has the ID of 1 or whatever. So we'll need to be adding those links back here, I think is like the very, very next thing that I am working on. I will say real quick here as well, I do... I have the chats open, but they're kind of behind the video I'm watching, so I'll try to check in on them from time to time, but I won't see the chat nearly as quickly as normally when I usually will just keep it over on that other screen. So I'll be watching this on that screen, so... If it is, if you have a particularly, question or something like that and you want to get my attention, you could try pinging me. Whatever chat thing you're in. Should be able to hear it, although I'm not positive. Is that a cat on the counter? Okay. Yeah. Adding the links to these things. Okay, but I am in the process of this. I'm also kind of using it as a test drive for VS Code, which I haven't used really before. This tutorial that I'm working in, they use VS Code in it, and so I figured why not feed two birds with one scone, as they say, and straighten out this rug here, and kind of use this as an introduction to that as well. It's pretty interesting. I'll say there's still a few differences from PyCharm that catch me up from time to time, but honestly, it's not like that different. There are little things here and there that trip me up. So let's see, what are we doing right now? We're to go to the jobs jobs view. So we're going to the list view, and instead of the job title we have here, be adding one of these router links. In the cat duty for a minute here as well, otherwise If I put off that duty for long enough, then my legs become the source of entertainment. Grappling match against my legs. I'll be entertaining the cat one way or another, but I would rather it be with this octopus on a string. Buddy, you got it. Oh, put it away. Good. Put that there for a minute. So this is basically... Oh, okay, that's interesting. It doesn't replace... Okay, so we'll delete that. We want a router link. It should show up like this, I think. Oh yeah, it knows it needs to go to something. That's nice. Oh, okay, put the H2 back, actually. Let me go grab that. Technically, we want to keep that, actually. Oh. I want to put this after that. So router link is like an href, an anchor href, but specific to Vue. And it allows it to hijack it and not actually send any additional requests to the server, but still show it to the user as though it looks like a different page. That's kind of a lot of what Vue is about, I've come to learn, is serve everything up front from the server and then have this JavaScript library that's constantly adding and removing and changing the things that are on the page. So like when you load a new page, it's actually just changing out a section of the DOM with a different page's stuff. It's an interesting approach. Where are we linking this to? So I guess we're going to need one of these things probably with this. Yeah. Right, I think mine's different though. I need to look up my name. It's not just, I did mine a little different. We need the router page, this one. Okay, job details. I did make this job detail. I eventually took the S off. I'm gonna change that actually while we're here. Just detail. Probably would be good to have a dash or something as well, but let's go ahead and make the call right now that we're gonna do that with underscores. That is what we will link to from this thing here. So make it so that, oh wow, a lot of pages. No match for job detail. Let's give it the old hard refresh. Okay, broken. All the pages broken. No match for job detail. The key, we need the key also, I think, right? Yeah. An ID key. Job detail, we need a key. Our case is the ID from our data here. So we did not be. Oh wait, no, the key is on the for loop. I already have the key. Okay, probably the messed up quote actually then is what broke it, maybe. Hopefully. Yeah, there we go. That one's still broken though. Interesting. Sub detail. This is not saved. God dang it. Yeah. Okay, so now this doesn't crash. It does crash actually. Missing required param ID. This is all weird. This, I think, is one of the downsides of this approach of pretending that different pages are coming in when they actually aren't. So like we have different behavior now. I can click back and forth to these two. Everything's all good. This page is broken if I click on it with this error. But if I just refresh, then this page loads. And then if I click here, now this page is broken. But if I, again, just refresh, this page works, so we now have this, like, two different states for the same page, depending on whether we clicked these links versus if we just loaded the page by itself. Which I guess is just part of what you get to deal with. But I do find that interesting. It seems like it makes troubleshooting a little bit tricky. So we are missing a required parameter ID. Do we need the ID also on the to thing? We do, yeah, okay. Okay, this is inside of here. Interesting. Okay, one thing is I'm doing my styling differently than the tutorial as well. The tutorial is all default-ish styling and is light mode with white backgrounds and everything, and I've been, as I go, updating stuff to make it dark mode friendly. I could always just turn on Dark Reader, but I've just been tweaking mine to also kind of test myself to make sure I understand where changing what CSS where has what effects on different parts of the page. This is very much like a learning expedition for me, trying to just figure out what different things do. And in this case, I want my links to be better. Do on this page, but honestly, we should probably do higher up, like already making the color for this. Okay, we have. Interesting. What if we did this just for A's instead of nav A's? Yeah, like that. And none of those three are active ever because they're not like on a specific page. We should maybe make this active even on this page. I don't know if that's a thing that we'll go over video. Okay. Interesting. We don't need this if we use the prop. Still work. Now it works because we're pulling the variable called ID. In the old version, we were setting the variable ID on our data object so that we would have access to it. In the new version, we're just saying that we expect it to be passed in. And I guess this is it getting passed in? Interesting, and then we have to turn this true to here for that to work. I'm gonna keep my own style, I think. Oh, making them buttons? Look like buttons. Let's see what they look like. Pointer already, isn't it? Did make them into buttons. Okay, let's do buttons real quick. I won't just copy there. So we could, I guess, put those back to being the nav links. And then back into here we go. Style choose a job. A job. I'm gonna go with like this. How that looks. Adding. I wish border radius was higher in the list of suggestions. I wonder if it like learns from you ever, or if there's a way I can manipulate it. That should just be like that by default. Try keeping the color, maybe? It's gonna look weird. Yeah, that's probably not gonna work. Something lighter, I'm guessing. Oh yeah. Good job, A. Also have a cover. That's pretty nice. I think this is a little bit too big. They should be centered? Why are mine not centered? Are yours centered too? Oh, centered, I don't know. Centered. So we could go, oh, let's look at divots in. Oh, okay, they're full width. That's my problem. Honestly, we should have a div for jobs. Of class job. Jobs container if you want. Using it for anything, but it feels like it should be in its own. Will text align work? So I mean, we could use width instead of max width. Then margin auto. But I want some on the bottom also. I like that because it looks like a database, actually. If we had a few more. Oh, good itchy nose. Anything else? The background. I'm gonna play with the background color just a little bit. Look like if we go darker. I think I like that. Okay. That's not really important to the tutorial or anything specific to Vue. They did do a different background on their hover as well, I guess. Let me do that also. Oh yeah, that is a nice touch. Redirects and 404s are up next. Whoops. Nice. Easy enough. Yeah, I noticed this too. Unknown pages render a kind of sort of valid-ish page. Oh. Whoops, wrong thing, refresh. Okay, we got a different error. Found view. Not find module. Oh, it says jobs. Right, I duplicated one that had jobs. I actually want that. There we go. Nice. Okay, so now if we get to a URL that doesn't exist, we get a specific thing. I got the nav still. All right. Can I search? Can you search? How do I search for a file? It's double tap shift in app.vue. Is it gonna find it? This is not. It's not looking for files. It's looking for contents of files. Hope I have the data. Control P, Control E. What are we doing in here? Sometimes it puts a semicolon for me, and sometimes it doesn't. I've not figured out the rules, and therefore sometimes I type it myself and end up with 2. A little bright. Is it cursor pointer? Yeah. And I'm feeling a little fancy. Let's make a. Oh, but this will do like all buttons, won't it? Okay, let's call these actually. They're kind of navigation functions, but I don't want to call them that because we actually have nav here, which are like their own links. Let's call these action button. I don't know, these are not necessarily a practical part of the project. These are just going to be a way to learn how to do these things programmatically. Go action, cover. Not using that's. I'm not done yet. Dare you? Let's make it a little bit different color. Should get lighter or darker? Is it too light if we get lighter? I don't know. That's kind of nice. It's like still pretty subtle. Change the color maybe. Ooh. So we would want to go to a darker color. Okay. On jobs, we go home about. Okay. Interesting. This is going to be how forward works. I wonder how we can check if there's anything in front of us or not. It'd be nice to disable this when we're at the top of the stack like this one does. I wonder if these other methods, I'm kind of curious. This method here, is that going to do the same thing? Yeah. Okay, that's good to know. So for the case of specifically forward and back by 1, you can actually use those shortcuts. lowercase. Would specifically take you to home. Already on home. Let's go to jobs about. Forward should get us nowhere. Back would get us to jobs. Back again would actually get us to home. What I want to do is go about and then jobs. And so back would not take us home, but redirect should. Nice. And that would enter a new thing in the history as well, although that would happen even if we had gotten to it a different way. So that's not actually any different. So yeah, we don't. Or if we can learn that, let's take maybe like 90 seconds or less and see if we can figure that out, but not get stuck on it. So Vue $router check if can go forward. Check if it's possible to go forward. I'm using Vue 3, not Vue 2. Or like length or push to it. Route, get routes, add route after each back before each go, has route, install is ready, listening on error option, move route, get routes, current route. Routes, current route. Oh, true. Not sure of the actual logic, and I'm not going to stop and try to figure it out. I am just going to go on, but I guess maybe you could use some combination of current route along with get routes, which I would assume is going to give you the list of all the routes. And somehow try to check if the current route is at the top or bottom or whichever side it pulls from or whatever to try to determine if you're allowed to go for it or not, but I'm not going to mess with that. Oh wow, that was the end of that video. Usually there's a challenge at the end of the video that they didn't have one this time. Fetching data. Guessing we're moving our data blob here out to a separate file. Some other. Guessing we're taking this stuff and putting it in some other data file so that we can fetch it. JSON server. Interesting. New folder, but I don't want it to be in Java. Data. Open that. Here we at db.json. It's true. Not be valid JSON says indeed. I should be using replace. Nice control. Control Shift H. People that remember that? Just this file? Only this one. It's just putting enters. Which only open editors. I don't really want. I just want this. Replace all. I think I probably spent more time trying to figure out how to use replace. That'll pay dividends though. Next time I replace something in VS Code. Oh, how do I? Oh, okay, I see. actually work. Save dev. Must be run from root directory. So we installed it locally, but it doesn't notice it. Like using npx, what is that? Even I've never even heard of npx. No, I mean, I'd rather just use the one I installed. The only difference was we didn't have this save dev. Like that. Yeah, also I gotta run to the restroom, so BRB. Make a difference. Dev dependencies. Now it's in dev dependencies instead of dependencies, but it still doesn't actually work. Do I have to run npm install just by itself? If you install it locally in your project, use npx to run it. Just can't do it with it locally? I mean, you must have been able to at some point. Just watch this person do it. Person's doing both, installing it globally and using npx. Huh. How do you do npm remove or like uninstall? npm uninstall. Okay, can I run npx without installing it? To install the following packages. Wonder if that's gonna do G or not. Okay, that's working, I guess. This file didn't change, so I guess that did install globally. Interesting. We still don't have access to it though. I didn't actually uninstall it. I have no idea where this installed to. That's annoying. Do I have to uninstall with -G? Did that do anything? This output is kind of annoying to me because it doesn't like this fail, success, didn't find. Like, this doesn't really tell me what happened. It's still installed because it didn't have to do that install thing again. Like somehow this just like installed this thing somewhere where we're not allowed to remove it. I could just move on, I guess, because what we want to do is use it, but I don't really like the fact that it just installed a thing somewhere. And like, what if we actually get to a point where we want a different version or we want to actually remove it? Kind of want to figure this out before we move on, even though it's not specifically related to next problem at hand. On Windows .npm npx. Okay, lines up pretty well, I guess. Okay. I should uninstall it. Yeah. Good. No, don't want to proceed. Okay, so my goal here would be to not have that installed to some random place in my home directory. Like ideally that could live in the project. So if we go back and do install JSON server, this is now back in here under dependencies. If I then do this, nice, yeah, so it's running without doing that install step. This is much better. Okay. Detour is over. So this is an interesting thing, actually. I'd never actually heard of this JSON server thing before. So basically, this is taking a flat JSON file and running a service that kind of builds an HTTP API on top of it. So if you hit this page, it gives you back your data. You hit this page, it doesn't give you back anything, which is a little weird, but you could probably do like also jobs -0/0 and nope, just kidding. Okay. Well, okay, what does that do though? Cause like, how's that different than just hosting a static JSON file? I guess you said you can do post requests? What's the other stuff you said you could do? Blogs ID. Blogs have an ID. Interesting, we don't have that. We have ID. Gives that as an example of one that would work, but seem like it actually would. Or I mean, it doesn't seem like it actually does. It seems like it would, but so what does this do, I guess? Like, trying to just like figure out why this, what does this do beyond just what a static server would do for us here? We could like fetch that static JSON file and just get out of it inside JavaScript, but it's said that you could do posts. Something like this. Is it details? Okay, that seems like it succeeded. Well, response 201, is that successful? I'm pretty sure that's like empty response or something. Content created maybe? ID 4, it tells us. Created it, but it didn't put the actual stuff in it. Well, it does tell us, I guess, at least something it can do that a static server file could not do. But somehow, I guess if we format this correctly, we could make it actually add the right stuff in here. Not good. Really working? Looks like it's working. Must be working, right? Because we commented out the other one. Yeah. So I guess we could be certain if it's working by updating the database. And then it's not live because we put that inside mounted, which only gets called once. We actually do have to refresh or click to a different page and then come back. Cool. Oh, these are linkified all the way out here. I thought we did like width on those somewhere. Okay, there we go. Now they're not clickable out here anymore. I tried that. mean, nice. I guessed right. How's it going, Axel? Sorry, I have the chats behind the tutorial I'm following. I don't know how long ago you mentioned that. Got some Vue.js tutorial going on this evening. Huh, nice. Added my div. Yeah, it's in there. Yeah. Position API is what it's getting into next. That was the end of that video. I think I'm gonna probably head out and get some dinner though. Well, there's also some chats over on Discord. Sorry, how's it going, DJ Devin? Still around? Had the chats covered up for a while there. Watch the Vue intro and it looks more like it's about Mars robotics automation than JS. Interesting. I haven't seen the intro video for it yet. Ninja UI designer must be one of those ninja assassins that only takes out singers. PX, npm package manager. Yeah, these are all from a little bit back, but I didn't see them until now. Or helps execute packages without installing. It seems like it does install them. Or I guess I should say, like, you don't have to install them beforehand, but it installs it for you, seemingly into a place in your home directory, and then after it gets installed, it can run there. Okay. But if you do explicitly install it first, then you get more control over where, like, A, you get more control over where it installs, and B, as far as I'm aware, you retain a way to uninstall it without just hunting down this random directory, except for actually it should back up in this directory anyway, so something put it back there. I don't know. It does install it, it just installs it in a weird place. I think I'm gonna head out and get some food though. Definitely feeling ready for dinner, so I'm gonna do that. Hope everybody has a good rest of your evening. I will be back on Friday for the deep dive, certainly. Otherwise, I may pop on here or there again. We'll see. Don't know. Again, as always, you can always follow me over on Twitter if you want notifications for that kind of thing. And yeah, thanks for hanging out for a bit. I will